Hey guys, what is up? Welcome to a brand new video. So we've got something pretty cool today to talk about. We have a brand new mechanic coming into League, just like a stun or a silence or grounding that was added pretty recently. We now can put champions to sleep and also make them drowsy. There's two different parts to it, which I'll show you in a second. But this fits really well with the new champion that they teased 4 days ago, saying toying with Twilight. So you see all these little like fairy bubbles and stuff. Maybe we're gonna have something like a Lulu, for example, because that kind of fits that same idea, right? But anyway, they say right at the end, don't fall asleep. And now we have this asleep teaser on the PvE where you actually have the drowsy and the sleep at the very start of the game. So this is more than likely, I'm pretty sure, 99% sure, this new champion is going to be a burst mage for the mid lane who can put champions to sleep, which sounds pretty cool. We're going to jump into PvE now and quickly show you the mechanic. Okay, so hopefully now we've reset the game, it should fly in from the left-hand side and be a little bubble that will pop up. There we go. It's going to hit us, it's going to make us drowsy, timer goes around, and then it puts us to sleep and we cannot move. Now, that is the mechanic. I'm going to keep resetting this while I'm talking so that you can hopefully see this over and over again. But there's two different parts to it. So the first part is the drowsy mechanic. And this part, actually, like, you can still move around and stuff. It doesn't seem like you're slowed at all. So it just seems like it's the timer until you're going to be put to sleep, which seems like there might just be a little bit of counterplay to it. So for example, if somebody hits this sleep onto you, then you're able to flash away. You can take a lantern away. You could run away, for example. Like, I can still move while this drowsy thing is on me, but then obviously when I'm asleep, I cannot move at all, right? So there's two different parts of the mechanic. The drowsy is like the setup. There is a timer around your character model as it goes around, and then once it hits the end, you're asleep. Now, obviously, we can't test exactly how these work because obviously it's a training custom game. Like, even in a normal game, an enemy cannot hit me right now, unfortunately. So we don't know exactly how it's going to be, but we do know that League borrows a lot of different mechanics from other different games because stuns, concussions, all of this kind of science stuff is very similar game to game. Sleep is one that is quite common in a lot of other games, and whenever a champion is asleep in another game, what it means is that the stun duration is normally longer than normal, but it's longer than normal because if you get hit by anything, then you break out of the sleep immediately. That is probably going to be how League follows. If they follow the same kind of pattern with all of their other stuff, then it's a different difference to a stun. Otherwise, it's just another form of stun. Why don't you call it a stun, I guess, right? So sleep mechanic seems to be like what most people have, where it would make most sense anyway. If you got hit by this thing, you were drowsy for a second, then you finally are put to sleep, and if you get hit by any ability or anything like that, any attack, then you are back to normal and that sleep is immediately removed. So it's not going to be like a normal stun, most likely, where you could just stun somebody, lock them down, burst them down and stuff. Obviously, it's good setup and everything like that, but you can't just like kill somebody while they're during their sleep, right? Because it's going to probably break out. The other thing that's pretty cool, actually, is this is like a bubble. So when it comes back onto the screen, hopefully, if we get it again, it hasn't been for ages. When we get it again, you'll see that it's actually like a bubble. So this could be like a skill shot, probably, because if it's targeted, that'd be pretty broken, considering you can't dodge it or anything. It's going to be like, maybe like a Nami bubble, for example. It could be the burst mage. Now, remember, it's on a burst mage, so it's going to be weird because most of the burst mage is like a Syndra, where all of their abilities do a lot of damage very quickly. So having a sleep with a burst mage like Syndra seems to be pretty ridiculous, but it's going to be how they actually put it into the kit. So for example, it could be a Nami bubble, like a Q. You throw it at somebody, it's a skill shot. When it hits them, it makes them drowsy, and then it puts them to sleep. It could be, it really could be like a massive thing where all the bubbles in your ultimate, you have a massive circle, and all of these bubbles fly in at once, and like it could hit like 2 or 3 people or 4 people and put them all to sleep. That would be pretty ridiculous. I don't think it's going to be something like that because burst mage normally ultimate is a lot of damage. That's how the game kind of works. But another thing that would be pretty cool is the burst mage might do more damage to the sleep target, because if you think about it, this guy, like, the job of the burst mage is to kill stuff, right? The sleep mechanic is nice, but like, how does that factor into setting up the rest of the combo? There we go. Finally, that bubble didn't appear for ages. So obviously, you can see the drowsy mechanic to start with, then the sleep again. And that sleep is quite a long time, actually. It seems like a long time anyway, so longer than stuns, but that's probably because if you hit somebody, like, it breaks it immediately, right? But it's going to be good for an escape, good for setup. So I guess it might be like Syndra has her stun. This burst mage has a sleep instead. But that's a pretty cool new mechanic, actually. And yeah, I just wanted to show you off very quickly. I actually saw this on Surrender at 20. I checked the site a lot because of how good it is. It's like the only place you can keep up to date with the PvE, honestly, because Riot doesn't have like a change list or anything like that. Riot's pretty lazy, actually. Like, they're basically like, Surrender at 20 is such a good site, and they're so good at keeping up with the PvE that we're just not going to do it ourselves. So Surrender 20 can do it forest, basically. Bit weird, but there's an article I'm going to link in the first line in the description. It's definitely worth a check out as well. It goes over everything that I've talked about today. But that's pretty much the seat mechanic in a nutshell. Hope you guys enjoyed the video and the look at it. Let me know what you think this is actually going to turn out like, if you think I'm right or wrong. But for now, I'll leave you with the